Hi everyone, I'm Sweet Melba. Thanks for joining me for Sunday on the porch. So it looks a little different. It's Christmas time. So I've spent a little time yesterday decorating for Christmas, and it's hard to believe it's Christmas already, but I enjoy getting out my basic, very simple Christmas decorations. And it's really a lot of memories, a lot of items that I've had for decades, really. And again, it's just simple. I try to create a very comfortable space, nothing fancy. Again, a lot of things that have a lot of memories for me. I try to bring the outdoors in. That's always been something that's been a part of my Christmas, and I continue to do that. So I thought I'd share a little bit about some of my, again, kind of simple, basic decorating and why it, I think, really makes our home feel like Christmas. So thanks for joining me, and I look forward to sharing with you. I think one of the key things that makes my house feel like Christmas are the smells or the scents, right? I love cinnamon, and I love cinnamon on my food, but I love cinnamon in the air and really any time of the year, but most especially at Christmas. The other important smell or scent in our home is gingerbread. And so I have a variety of ways of doing that. I have a candle, gingerbread ceramic candle, uh, kind of a setup type thing that I've had forever. I can't remember. I think I told my husband more than I've known him. But I love bringing that out. And so I'm using that this year. And it just puts that baking smell in the house. And certainly that's a Christmas thing. I'm not a big baker, but I love the smell of baking. And that's something that reminds me of being growing up with my mom cooking all kinds of things, but she always made gingerbread. And I try to make gingerbread too, gingerbread men every year. And the other important one for me is pine. And I have some scent pieces. Sometimes I try and pick up, I stop at the local Christmas tree lot and get some of the branches that they've cut off and put those around the house here and there, small little pieces of that, and that just adds that pine scent. And like I say, I have some scent pieces that I use in the tree. I have an artificial tree, which I really love. But again, it's those smells I think that just bring back memories. It makes you think of, different things that your family members have baked. And so that's a simple, very simple thing that's really important in our house. For our decorations, I have a couple different color schemes that I can use, but again, very basic. And I really tend to pick pretty much most of the time a very natural outdoors look to our decorations. I love including pine cones, and I have some nice ones. I have some sugar pine cones, which are large. I love putting those out. If you're fortunate to have some of those, I'd love for you to share and where you got yours. Mine are from the Lake Tahoe area where I used to live for many years. And so I think that may be why I like to bring in the natural into our home at Christmas time. It just reminds me of being in a cabin or at the lake. But even though we don't live there anymore, I love to bring in that natural. And again, pine cones and willow. I use a lot of baskets. Some of my decor is willow branches wrapped in the designs. And again, these are things that I've had for a long time. And it's just a pleasure to bring them out and remember how I got them or who I got them from. But baskets, as I say, I use a lot. And sometimes I've used branches, like aspen branches. I think that adds a lot to it. So there's just something for me about the outdoors and Christmas that go together. And I try and capture that in the decor that we do in the house to make it feel like Christmas time. For me in the house, and this is year round, but especially at Christmas time, I really like warm light, not bright light. And my husband and I differ on that. But I really like the warm light. And so I use a lot of candles. Again, very basic, simple thing that really adds so much, I think, to a room. And I have a few that are lit candles, fire flame candles. But more, I have the battery operated ones, and it just allows for them to be on all day without me worrying about did I put that flame out or not. So I enjoy having those, and I have a lot of those in the living room area. And our home is a kind of a combination living room and kitchen area, so we're always that's our main space. But I have candles throughout the house, and I add those, especially more of those at Christmas time in different places. And my lighting is I like a basic white light, warm white light. My tree is white lights, and I have lighting on our uh, railing for our fireplace, up on the hearth and everything, and just around on the tables and in the kitchen, and like I say, in different rooms and in the bathroom. And I think it just kind of creates a very relaxed environment, but yet comfortable in that you feel like you can, just have a seat and chat or have some tea or coffee or watch movies or whatever that may be. So I enjoy having that. And it's nice to have the electric ones that you can set with timers. So just again, just something that really adds a lot to the room, I think. And the fireplace, of course, again, I've talked about the fireplace and how important that is to me and spending time by the fireplace. And even though ours is a gas fireplace, it still adds a lot to the environment. So I enjoy having that. And when I don't have that on, I tend to have the Yule log TV channel on. And there's so many of them now. So I enjoy that just in the background. Even though it's not real, it just adds so much and it makes me feel very comfortable, and very simple way to add a lot to a room and the environment. My decor too, that just I think makes the room feel very Christmassy, are the Christmas decorated pillows and throws, things like that that I enjoy having out. And again, I have those in different rooms, and these are things I've had for a long time, and just different stories behind them too. And I'm going to share that on another video this month, just talking about some of these key pieces that are part of my Christmas. And it's nice to have those out. It's nice to have that to just easily grab, when you're watching TV, and or just, sitting during the day reading, or uh, looking at your phone, whatever that may be. But I think it adds a lot to it, and I enjoy having those. And again, there's some special ones there too. And for me, I like our environment in the home, and especially at Christmas, to feel like you can just come in and sit down. You don't, have to worry about things being too fancy or knocking something over. It's just very comfortable. There really isn't anything elaborate about the decor that I use in the house. And again, I just want it to feel like a very comfortable come in, grab a seat, and let's chat. Just like I do on my porch. So I want it to be inviting and welcoming, warm, and cozy. And if you need a blanket or an extra pillow, there's one there for you. So I enjoy creating that environment. And I enjoy having the sounds in the background too, whether I'm working or cooking dinner or whatnot, whether that's, the holiday movies on. And there's a lot of channels now on cable that are just the different graphic scenes with some of that old time Christmas music playing, different ones, whether that's jazz or Christmas songs, or there's even religious songs. I mean, there's so many of that to choose from. I just really enjoy having that on. So if there's not something on the TV that I'm watching, I probably have either the fireplace Yule log going, or one of the sounds, digital on the TV, and then I just leave that on. And we do that when we have company over too. I mean, again, you can put it very low, and it just adds so much to the room, and I think it just makes very comfortable. But it's just, that's Christmas, right? It's just those songs and the memories. So I enjoy creating that. I even have some Christmas lights that have music on them, and I've had these forever too. And I rarely have those ones on, but every now and then I'll put those ones on, and it's nice that the lights kind of are timed to those sounds on the string of lights. So I enjoy that as well. But yeah, it's just just creating uh, a sense of tradition, memories, and comfort and quiet time. And that's just how I kind of approach my everyday, but more importantly, at Christmas time. And I mentioned previously about the items that I bring out for Christmas, aside from the things I've talked about. A lot of my decorative pieces are pieces that I have received as a gift or have been passed down to me. And I have some reindeer, some animated reindeer that my mom passed down to me just a couple years ago. And these are from Sears. And gosh, these are probably they've got to be at least 30 years old. But I was really glad to add those to my items, and I brought them out this year, and they're both working. Last year, one of them wasn't working, but for some reason, I turned them on this year, and they both worked right out of the box. So I was pleased about that. But they are things that are memories for me. And one of the big ones that I have around my house, and not overly done, again, very simple, but a lot of meaning to me, a lot of sentimental reminders are my collection of teddy bears that I have. And I have those placed periodically in different places around the house. And I used to have a very large collection. And have dwindled that down over the years to the pieces that I just really love. And there are just ones, again, that I've gotten for Christmas gifts or ones that I had purchased, but I always collected teddy bears and not expensive ones, not at all. I have one expensive teddy bear, I think, and that rarely ever comes out. But I just really enjoy that. And maybe it's the connection to the outdoors that I talked about. Bears have always been something that I've liked. So I always try to bring out some of those teddy bears and try to mix them up a little bit now and then, but there's some that come out every single year, and there's a few that are up all year round in my house. But again, something that means a lot to me. It's a tradition for me, and a lot of memories with those. And as I said, I'm going to be doing another video coming up on just some of the stories behind some of the pieces that are just very important to me and that really make my Christmas what I felt it was like, as a child and growing up, and the pieces that are really important. So I enjoy bringing those out. And again, things that have been given to me or I bought, and they all have a little bit of a story. And as I've kind of gotten rid of a few over the years, there are some that I won't be getting rid of and will probably attach a story to when I'm passed and somebody else has to look at the items, just the history behind them. And I love hearing that. So if you have a special piece in your holiday collection that you put out that has a very special story, I'd love for you to share in the comments because I think we probably all have a few of those. So I certainly do, and really enjoy bringing them out. And things that, again, remind me of my childhood. So they're not toys per se, but they kind of have that connection to toys. I have rocking horse and a toy soldier, just different things like that. So I enjoy having those out, and it just really adds, I think, a lot of warmth and just simple decor that just has so much meaning. And it opens up too when people see it, a conversation about a piece or something. And I'm always glad to share those. So I'm glad to have those out every year. And of course, you got to have the treats, right? Well, I'm not a baker. There's a few things that I can make. There's a few things I've made over the years that have gone seriously wrong. The gingerbread houses, that was bad. Um, I used to tried to make some English toffee. It was a recipe from a coworker from long ago, and I could never get it right. and I finally have gotten it right. So I'm going to make some this year. But I think the treats are important, whether you make them or you buy them. And so I love to kind of set up a little treat area on the counter or on the coffee table with some of those chocolates. Now, certainly when we had pets, which we don't now, I couldn't do that on the coffee table, anyways. But whether those are chocolates or cookies I've made, I do make gingerbread men every year. So having those out, but the coffees and the hot chocolate, the teas, peppermint tea and honey sticks, things like that. I enjoy having that out, and just chocolate I buy from the store. And so we do that and keep those out. And certainly, that doesn't help with the weight gain we all get at the holidays, right? But that just makes it feel like Christmas again. And they're simple things you can do, and I enjoy doing that. And occasionally my mom will make them some things. She makes her own, pretty much all of hers is homemade, but oatmeal cookies, raisin oatmeal cookies, or ginger snap cookies, or she will have different breads and things that she'll bring down. So we enjoy having those out and kind of keeping them out to kind of snack on throughout the season. So again, having those treats is something simple you can do, and again, it makes my house feel like Christmas time, and it probably does yours too. So again, I'll make a few things this year and put those out. So those are the components of my home at Christmas time. What I do to make it feel like Christmas time, and I enjoy doing that. And my husband and I, enjoy just that environment, and I enjoy watching the movies and listening to the music. And again, it's all simple things, but for me, a lot of it is that natural environment and bringing that indoors as much as I can. And as long as I can sit outside on the porch, I enjoy doing that. So we haven't had any snow here yet. I'm sure it's coming, but we've had some nice temperatures lately. So it's nice to sit outside and have a tea or hot chocolate or something. And we're looking forward this year to having some friends over. We haven't done that in a while, so we'll be doing that. And so we're looking forward to that. So again, just simple, nothing fancy, and we really enjoy the time. So I appreciate you watching today. And again, I would love to hear from people in the comments about the things that you do that make your house feel like Christmas, and simple things, things that don't cost a lot of money, and things that you put your time and effort into to create the environment you want in your home. And I'd love to hear what others are doing. So thanks again for watching. And I will see you next Sunday here on the porch. And we're going to kind of stick with the holiday theme. So I'll see you next Sunday. Thanks for joining me. I'm Sweet Melba. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.